Hi, how are you? The training I'm about to do regarding sales is for a past client, and it's something that is going to be relevant until the end of time. And it's something that I need you to brace for and wrap your brain around. Not everybody is cut out for sales. Not everybody wants to do sales, but also most people have this resistance where they're like, oh my gosh, sales, or like sales is bad. No, I'm not talking about tricking people. I'm not talking about snake oil. I'm not talking about, um, you know, I'm not talking about what you traditionally think of in terms of sales. I'm talking about convincing people, but I'm talking about doing so in a way that asks good questions for understanding. I'm talking about understanding people and wanting to know them, wanting to know what people need. And so, as they talk about scripts and frameworks and sales and how to do it, just know that it's something that is definitely critical to your business. And you can't tune out sales. You can listen to certain elements. You can listen with a grain of salt. You can take the best from the right observations and people who are trying to actually serve those out there. But just because somebody says you got to learn sales skills, you got to learn how to master a script or things like that, it doesn't make you fake. It doesn't make you evil. It doesn't make you somebody who's trying to manipulate others to do bad. You're actually trying to help people. That's the goal. But in order to help people, you have to gain a certain ability to convince them. You have to be persuasive in nature. So it goes back to English class a long time ago. It goes back to elementary and trying to convince your friends what you wanted to do. It goes back to date nights and trying to to entertain somebody or get somebody's buy-in into doing what you may want to. All of that has to do with salesmanship. So as I go into sales, just know that you may have a whole lot to learn in this regard, but the longer you kind of close your eyes and pretend it doesn't exist or think that it's just going to magically resolve itself or that you're going to magically find that sales ace who gets you and who's going to represent you ethically, if any of those limiting beliefs circle about in your mind, they're wrong. You have to know this stuff and you have to know how to qualify people who know this stuff. Or you have to work with somebody, pay somebody a ton of money that you can trust to help you bridge that gap for you. It's just there's no simple answer for sales. There's also no easy route for it. So if you've been drinking that Kool-Aid or been looking for that Kool-Aid, how many more years are you going to waste on that process? Trying to find that. How much more time are you going to postpone the inevitable? It's like me. I don't have a six pack. I don't have a six pack because I don't put in the work for the six pack, and I know that, and I at least own that. But if I wanted a six pack, I know that I'd have to do the work in order to get it. There's no shortcut. There's no pill that's healthy enough that's going to actually make me get there. Even if they did come out with a pill, I'd let like 50 years worth of studies go and consume that first. And let everybody else be the guinea pig who rots away in the process. Don't do that to yourself. Just learn. It's not impossible to learn these things. It's not simple. It's not easy, but it's worth it. And at the end of the day, while it does take hard work, the 10,000 rule applies here. The faster you put those hours in, the faster you become a master of your craft. And you don't even have to become a 10,000 hour master to be great at sales and to be helpful with sales. Just like I can teach you right now how to walk up to somebody in the street and say, hi, how are you doing? Sales is that process. It's not 10,000 hours. It's a matter of dedicated hours to mastering the craft of learning how to be persuasive and not be manipulative and learning how to speak with certainty. So we'll cover a lot of ground when it comes to sales, and you can dive in as far as you want to. But ultimately, if you're constantly thinking of like, man, what's the minimum I can do to be an excellent baseball player? You're just not going to get there. If you're like, oh, what's the minimum I can put into sales and be good at it? Well, you're just not going to get there. That's the wrong mentality altogether. So put your best foot forward and just try to do your best. And if you try to do your best and you listen to the coaches who are guiding you, they're looking out for your best interest, then you're going to ultimately achieve what you're setting out to accomplish. Law of attraction is going to reward you on that. So again, I hate to make this warning so prominent, but I think it's necessary for you to kind of bite the bullet when you dive into this. Say, you know what? I'm going to take what he says. It's only a few minutes per session, 10, 20 minutes. And there's only a couple hours of practice that are probably going to be recommended in all of this. And at the end of the month, at the end of 2 months, I might very well change my financial trajectory for the rest of my life. And is it worth those hours of time that you put in order to completely transform your livelihood and transform what your family brings home and what the strength of your company and the security with which you know how to train your employees and the whole nine yards that goes along with that? Absolutely.